Okay, so let me mute myself and prepare for this.
Same here.
Right.
Ini nak tandas lah. So yeah, I mean.
Hello, everyone. I'm very sorry that there's some technical glitch on my side. So I hope you all can hear me. Can the team hear me?
Yes, Edmund, can hear you.
My apologies for that, right? So I just managed to get into the webinar. So good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for joining us today on the Malaysia Archicad User Day. My name is Edmund. I look after the market for Singapore and Malaysia. I'm joined today with my colleague Chidambaram. Maybe you all can actually show your face.
Hello, everyone. Chidam here.
He's the technical director. And we also have James and Zai over here, which is
Hello.
our BIM consultant. You could actually show our face. And we also have Ashraf, our business development manager, and Julia, our marketing manager. Also running in the background, we also have Raf, our software engineers, is over here. And also today, I believe our reseller, Chrysalis Network, Noria, and Stock Robotic is here as well. So it's certainly our pleasure to be able to host the Malaysia Archicad User Day online. So let me give you a quick introductions of what this Archicad User Day is about. Right, I think many of you may not know we have a User Day because we have not started this User Day for too long. So as you can see from the photos, right, that is our first User Day in Malaysia. While there are many such events hosted in Malaysia, this is the first time that we host directly from Graphisoft for the Malaysia markets, and we think that this is the right way to do to get to know our fans, our user, and have a closer relationship with all of you all. So this happened actually, our first user happened sometimes in March 2019, and since then we have been going to the different region. So the idea of the user day is to create an Archicad community where we can actually bring our user together to support each other, to share knowledge and to share real world working experience on how to use the software, and also to serve as a networking platform to let our user to get to know each other. What we do not want to do is to make an event too formal. I encourage everyone to sit back and relax and enjoy while we present the topics to you. Right. The other goal that we have for the user day is to bring consistent and high quality learning to all Archicad users and to serve as a central platform to disseminate updates and information, especially to keep all our users informed of the latest trend and technology happening around the world. So in the following series of Archicad User Day, I hope to be able to invite some of our users here to share their best practices and case study to the community. Right? We often hear the phrase, in every adversity lies an opportunity. And given the current climate and the situation, it's quite a unique opportunity that we are now able to gather all our Archicad users from all over the different cities in Malaysia into a single communication platform, which normally will not happen. Right? I believe some of you have also attended the various workshop and training online course that we have conducted, especially during the strict lockdown period. In a wider scope, we are now able to bring information around the globe to the community. So I would like to also share with you an upcoming Graphisoft event named Building Together that's going to happen on the 8th to the 9th of July. So you might be able to identify from here the building here. So it's the world's second tallest building, the Merdeka Tower in KL. So it's really amazing and also proud to know that the Merdeka Tower is designed with Archicad. So over the course of 2 days, you will hear from the engaging lineup of architects, industrial leaders, and Graphisoft experts. But most importantly for this event, I think the highlight of this event will be the latest Archicad 24, which will be reviewed on the event. So do register on the webpage to get the first-hand news. Right. Every user day, we will pick some topics to share. So today, we are going to touch on the topics of collaboration and open BIM approach. How can we work remotely in an efficient and successful manner? And how can we work remotely through our BIMcloud technology? So I will go through quickly view on the agenda today. It will be a short 60 minutes style presentation. Right, so we'll start off with BIMcloud for collaboration, presented by Zai and Ashraf, and then followed by Open BIM workflow with Revit, presented by Mr. Chidambaram. And we have some marketing updates of the activities, which will share with you by Julia, and we will have a Q&A session. I encourage all of you all to openly post your questions so that we can answer them. And the last part, so do join us till the end, as we will be giving lucky draw. There will be 5 30 ringgits Grab food voucher to be given away. I hope everybody will luck. So without further ado, I shall pass on this the screen to my colleague Zai and Ashraf.
Okay, thank you, Eamon. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, welcome to this Malaysian User Day. Okay, today we are going to show you how Archicad manage collaboration with our own unique BIMcloud solution. It's an important feature in Archicad. Some of you may already hands-on with it. Okay, hold on, there's some glitch. Okay, so basically BIMcloud enables real-time secure teamwork activities, regardless of the size of the design project. Okay, the location of the offices or even the speed of the internet connection. So with every purchase of Archicad full version, it comes with BIMcloud Basic solution. Okay, basically this is where it's a free product plan of BIMcloud and it's available to all users. Okay, it can be installed and set up in any office, any computer or server within the office via the local area network. And we can also access it from outside the office via VPN. So basically, there's for huge firms, okay, there's a BIMcloud. BIMcloud is a paid version, so but it can be accessed through various remote offices around the world. Okay, basically there are 3 basic components of BIMcloud. First of all is Archicad, right? The authoring tool, right? And then the BIMcloud server, where we store all our projects, our data in there. And it also have a BIMcloud Manager to manage all the access rights of the whole system, okay, BIMcloud. Okay, so for the IT structure, okay, so basically it's a standard office network. Okay, so it works in any standard office setup through any standard computer network through LAN and over the internet. So basically, there's a two-way connection between the clients, which is the computers, and also the BIM server and the manager. Okay, so basically, the first BIMcloud Basic is a free one, which I've already explained. Okay, it works within the office. Okay, but this BIMcloud Basic works only with the similar versions of Archicad and BIMcloud. Okay, but it's managed by your company IT team, right? So the BIMcloud is a paid version. Okay, it can be accessed anywhere around the world. Okay, which actually optimized for multiple office setup, and it supports multiple Archicad versions. Okay, and also there's a integration of Vmax Pro, but also it's managed by the company IT team. Okay, as well as the hardware. Okay, but there's a BIMcloud as a service. Okay, it's almost similar to BIMcloud, but this service is actually managed, okay, and handled by our Graphisoft team in Budapest. Right. Okay. So basically, in the BIMcloud Manager, right, the user or the IT manager, whoever is using, is in the team, will have to have a login credential. This is important for security. Okay. Then basically you can access all the projects, users, roles, libraries. Okay. So for today, I'm going to also talk about the roles. Okay, the roles basically is quite important because it involves security, all this, right? So we can have, by default, we always have architect, draftsman, lead architect. So lead architect, the role will be higher than the draftsman or the viewer. Okay, so basically what users would do, okay, in Archicad, right? So when a lead architect do something, even a grid line, a simple grid line, so he would go to the teamwork menu go to the project, and then he would share the file. Then the rest of the team will go to their own teamwork menu in their own Archicad, okay, and then now they will open or share the teamwork project. And all the management of the project file, whether it's saving, okay, will be controlled in the teamwork palette. Right. So without further ado, I think I will show how it works. Okay, I'm in Singapore right now. Ashraf is in KL. So I'm going to show you how this thing works. Okay, so basically I've done, let's say, an architect done a simple grid line, right? You will just go to the project and then you will share. Okay, he will share the file, right? So the next guy who comes in, right, from another machine, he will join. Okay, he will join the project. So basically, okay, this is a S building that was created by our Budapest team. So I'm going to use this project. Okay, so if I go to the floor plan in a real situation, right? So I got a message that, can we do something with this toilet? Do we need these doors between the washroom and the WC? Right. So what I would need to do, maybe I would create a bubble, because I'm going to ask Ashraf, okay, about this decision. So I'm going to make some kind of a bubble, so it's easier for him to see, right? And okay, I'm going to make this display order to front so that he can see the bubble in front. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, I need to send him a message. Okay, to Ashraf, right? Then I will put in some message and I capture the view so that he can look at the view and open it immediately. Okay, then I send to him. Okay, so after this, I'm going to pass this to Ashraf.
Hi, okay. Now I'm in Malaysia. I just received a new message from Zaid. Just say that, Ashraf, please confirm if we need this door here. So I want to know what is that, right? From here, I just click restore view. So now I can automatically zoom into that specific things. So I just write back, just say that, maybe we just please remove the door and shorten the wall. And I just set that as a high priority. So I just set as a receive changes and then send back to Zaid. Okay, now we go back to Zaid.
Yeah, so once I receive the message from Ashraf, okay, so I need to do something lah, right? So we don't need, right? So I need to, because of teamwork, I cannot just remove the door like that. Okay, I need to click the reserve button because this is due to security lah. So we know who's changing what, right? So I remove these doors, and of course I need to shorten the wall lah. Okay, right? So once I shorten the wall, maybe I say, okay, things are okay, right? So then I'm going to send the message to inform Ashraf that it's done. Okay, it's done, and then I will send a reply to him, right? So same thing, I'm going to capture the view, and then I'm going to send and receive. Okay, right? Okay.
Okay, from my side, I just received a new update from Zaid. You can see now, automatically, when I click the apply view, you can see now the wall already gone, right? So if you notice, I working inter-country, means Zaid in Singapore and I'm in Malaysia. So this teamwork can help us, especially when we facing the MCO things. Okay. You back, Zaid?
Okay. So basically, in a project, communication among team members is very important. But in this case, we can do it within Archicad. Okay. And then, okay lah, with teamwork, right? Whether you work at home or office, there's no problem at all actually, right? So with or without MCO, work still goes on, correct? Right. So and then because of teamwork, okay, because it's very flexible. We can, because of speed also and productivity, right? So maybe we have a shorter deadline for some reason. So the bosses can allocate more staff to join in. Okay, and then of course, okay, coordination and collaboration is done, okay, real time. That's the best part of teamwork. So any changes you see on the spot, right? Okay, so okay, now we're going to, this is the end of the teamwork, right? So I'm going to pass this this mic to Chidam, who's going to talk about Open BIM workflow with Revit. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Thanks, Zaid and Ashraf. I will be taking you through this session now. Let me check whether I have the control. Julia, can you approve my control? Yep, I will request again. Can you allow? Yep. Okay, thanks, Julia. And good evening, everyone. It's good to get in touch with you all online. Unfortunately, I'm not able to come in person and meet all of you, which happened last year. I was there, and I wish I can come back soon, or next year user day or next user day, I will be there. I really want to meet everyone in person. So today my topic is Open BIM workflow with Revit. Because most of you using Archicad, and sometimes you may have engineers who will be using Revit, and you want to know how you can collaborate with engineers, right? So that's the topic I have taken today, and let me take you through how we are going to proceed with that. Right. So first, I want everybody to understand what is Open BIM. It is actually a universal approach to collaborative design. It is based on open standards and workflows, right? So, and this is not defined by any particular vendor or company. It is by organization, Building Smart, which is a governs this standard, and everybody have to adhere to that particular standard and exchange the data. So both Archicad and Revit comply to this exchange formats. So you can actually communicate. It's like a translator between two different softwares. So that's the main thing, right? So what is the advantage of going for an open BIM approach in any of your workflow? The main advantage is freedom to choose the BIM tools, right? So you can choose whichever tool you like, and you don't need to force the other parties in the project to choose the same tool, right? So you can decide which one to use and leave the choice to the others as well, right? Then you can communicate easily. That's the main advantage of going for an open BIM workflow, right? And when you talk about Open BIM, Graphisoft is very much in supportive of Open BIM. And you can see this diagram here. We really support many different formats. Most of the time, people think about IFC, the first thing, as the Open BIM, right? So there is also many other formats available. You can use it for Open BIM workflow. Even a text file, simple text file where you can put your XYZ values of your site, and you can exchange with the contractor, or the contractor can receive the text file and create the mesh or the site topo inside their BIM software. So that is also Open BIM, right? So when you talk about Open BIM, as long as you can exchange the data in a format the other party needs, and they can recreate the data and continue their work and deliver, that's fine, right? And we support, by having so many file formats, we support like 160 plus applications, and any applications can be used together with Archicad. That's the main thing. So this one can be used to come up with your own architecture. So this example is coming from Nikken, Japan. They basically use Graphisoft Archicad as actually a central platform, and bring in data from many different formats, many different applications. You can see Tekla is there, ETABS is there, Revit is there. Even they use tools like Dialects, or all. Of course, we have Rhino Grasshopper connections. So some of the connections are natively supported. Some of them are through IFC. Some is maybe by text files. Nikken also have developed their own converters. So those are highlighted in red, you can see that, right? So basically you have to, when you decide on a workflow, you have to form something like this. Who is going to do which software and how you are going to communicate, what is the format. Once you decided, you can go ahead with the project. And in this case, Nikken is using Archicad as actually a central platform to bring in all the data, because Archicad supports many different file formats. Right. So next is I want to share some tips and tricks. So the first thing is what is the possibility, right? So when you do projects, what can happen? So the first thing, you're all using Archicad. That's why you're all here, I know, right? So maybe your engineer or somebody in the partner is using Tekla for civil and structural. So what you can do, how you can exchange between them is we call selective exchange and a reference model concept. These two concepts I will explain in the next slides. Similarly, what happens is maybe you have a MEP engineer who is using Revit, right? Then you can do the same thing, selective exchange and model reference model thing between them. And when this thing happens, definitely you need a tool like Solibri, which is also handled by our team. We can actually bring in data from different BIM authoring tools and federate inside Solibri to check the quality and also regulatory requirements. You can check on the model, and once the model is fine, everything is fine-tuned, the model is in good quality, you can exchange with your QS, and they can do cost estimation, and they may be using different software. So if you see here, every party here is using different software. So that's basically the open BIM concept. So you don't need to restrict anyone to use a particular brand, particular version, or any particular software, right? So you can use many different brands suitable for the purpose, right? So it is meant for the purpose, and it's easier. So let's move on, and we want to understand what is selective model exchange a bit more. So it means that exchange only what is necessary for the project partner. So if the project partner needs only certain information, just give them only that information. Don't give the entire model to them and ask them to figure out how to get this information out of the model, right? So that's the selective exchange model concept. So by doing this, is easy to communicate, right? The example can be, for example, structural engineer, they are interested only in the structural elements, which is like load bearing elements, right? So then we can actually use Archicad to filter it, and you can send only the structural elements out, right? Similarly, for MEP engineers, they are interested always in the rooms, right? So the spaces. So you don't need to send the entire column, slab, and all those things. So you give them the rooms, then they should be able to work on it, right? So that's much easier. So this is basically the selective model exchange concept. Right, so the next concept is reference model concept. What is this actually? Reference model concept helps in change management. Right, the team shall keep the IFC file import as a independent native file. It can be in Revit or Archicad, and link that to their project, right? So don't import the IFC file into your project. At the same time, ask your partners also not to import the file into the project. Ask them to keep it as an independent native file, right? Then you can actually, in case you receive an update, you can update the model easily. You don't, if you put it inside the project, you don't know which one is created by you, which one is created by the IFC import. So that will cause a problem. So it is good to keep it outside. Then anytime there is an update, you can actually replace them. So that's actually depicted in this diagram here. So you are starting with the Archicad, architecture, or any discipline is fine. So once you have it, you export as a IFC, and the partner is receiving it can create an intermediate Revit file, which is the reference model, right? So which is actually the reference model here. Okay, so this can be linked into Revit, and in Revit itself, the project is there for MEP and structural. They can actually link your Archi model and work on it. Once they have finished their design development or design, they can actually communicate back to you via IFC file again. And when you receive it, don't put it into your project. create a separate Archicad file, which is again a reference model, right? So which is again a reference model, and this can be hot linked into your Archicad project. So this way, you know which is coming from your partners and which you have created, and easy for you to, it's like a trace reference. You can actually compare them and work on it easily, right? So this is the reference model concept. As I mentioned, so when you have this kind of workflow, it is easier to compare and check what is changed. And Archicad is getting better and better on this functionality. This screenshot is coming from the older version or current version of Archicad. I don't want to talk much about the new version now. You can wait for 1 more month and you can know more things. So it is getting better in the new version. That's just a simple thing I want to share with you guys. So comparison is a good way to see what is deleted, what is added. Then you can decide what to do with it. All right. So similarly, I also like this feature of Archicad always. You can actually do a trace reference. You basically import the IFC file and you create a 2D view of the structural model and put it below your architectural floor plan and check using the trace reference how to, what is changed. And if you are not sure how to do trace reference, of course, our team is very happy to help you. All our team members are here. When you do your actual project, if you need any help, you can reach out to Ashraf or Zaid. They know how to help you on this part, right? So please get in touch with us if you want to know. It is a very useful tool. I like it all the time. And next tip I want to share with you is a BIM collaboration format. This is the file format, is another open BIM format. You can use this to communicate your issues. So you can actually document the issues inside Archicad or inside any other tool or even inside Solibri. And this can be saved as a BCF file, BIM collaboration format. This is also coming from Building Smart. So this file will capture, allow you to communicate and document the entire issues, right? So it will have the snapshot of the place, it will have the location, and it even have the camera location. So it will bring you to the exact location, and whatever commands added by you, everything will be seen there, all right? So you can see that, and the file is really lightweight. You can just email it over. You don't need a server to do it or something. You are not exchanging the entire model. You are just exchanging only the file, right? So it's much easier. So in case your bosses receive this, they don't need to have Archicad or Revit or Solibri. They can actually install a simple desktop application. Most of them are free. They can actually view the BCF file and they can add their commands. The bosses will like it actually, right? So easier to manage. So BCF file format is really getting better and better, and people are using it, and that should be used in any of this OpenBIM workflow, right? So if you're going for OpenBIM workflow, must use BIM collaboration format. Let me move on. So what are the other things Graphisoft offer? So we developed a plugin for Revit to make it easier, right? So we know sometimes it is difficult to ask Autodesk people to ask for some development. So instead, we developed a plugin for Revit where we can actually control the outcome, right? So this particular tool or add-on can be downloaded from the following link. So what it does is it improves the export and import. So first you can look at the import. Is much more things to share here, right? And you can control the visibility of the elements. Shared coordinate system can be exported. You can split elements by level. Property set can be exported, and more controls available. So the data export from Revit will be much better if you use the plugin. So similarly, the import also improved. So certain things I want to highlight is the true north of the data, the spaces are converts to the rooms. Then you can actually import for elements and you can auto join the things, right? So the other thing normally Revit uses face is lines that becomes a slightly off angle, right? So that can be corrected automatically also, right? So these are the improvements. So definitely it is much better to use the plugin so that the data will be better in Revit. So if you want to know more about OpenBIM, we normally write blogs on this Asia BIM blog. I will pass it here for a while. I know some of you maybe join on a mobile, but if you're not on the mobile, if you're on your computer, you can take this QR code and you can actually follow our BIM Asia BIM blog. If you are not in a place where it is convenient to scan this QR code, there is recording happening now. So you will get the recording and you can actually visit anytime, or just go to Google, search for Asia BIM. You will get our articles. So we will have Archicad tips. We will have open BIM articles, everything in there. So all of us write articles inside here. All right. So you can follow us in there. So next, without further ado, I will bring it to the demo. So just to let you know, this particular demo is pre-recorded, but I recorded in a way that I'm going to do it today here online. But because of online, I don't want to have any technical issues. That's why it was recorded. You can see the video here. I will take you through the video. I will voice it over. This particular project is similar to what Zaid and Ashraf were using. We call this as a S building, our popular model for demos. So first thing I'm checking here is the data quality in the IFC project manager. So I can see all the data. Whenever you see building element proxy, that's always the culprit which cause problems sometimes. So you can actually check where it is coming from. You can see it is furnitures. So I'm going to exchange the data to the structural engineers. So it is OK. I can keep it as a furniture, as a building element proxy. So the next thing I want to check is the translator. So you can go to the translators and you can see what kind of translators you have. There is many here. I'm checking the Revit structure thing. You can see the filters, which allows you to choose what to export when you export IFC file, right? And you also can choose the schema, IFC 2x3 or 4. And another important thing is to do the type mapping. So inside the type mapping, you can actually choose the element and make sure it is exported right. So in this case, slab is goes as IFC slab. I want it to go as a predefined type floor, right? So I can change that. So which will go as structural slab in when it goes to Revit, right? So once it is done, then selective exchange comes into play. So I'm just filtering up and showing only the structural elements. So it is controlled by layer, pen, and I also want to change the visualization to see whether my selection is correct. Yeah, when I look at it, then I realize there is some doors also there, right? So I check my model, what is going out. So now I see everything is OK, except there is doors. So for the doors, it is controlled by the filter. So I go inside here and uncheck the doors and windows. So I don't want to exchange this to the structural engineers. So this is what I was talking about in the selective exchange. So structural engineers receive only what they want to receive, right? So everything looks fine. So now I'm ready to export. So saving an IFC file from Archicad is just go to File, Save As, and then you choose the file format and the translator, and you save it, right? So that's saved. So you can see the file is going. And normally Archicad is quite fast. I will let it run in the actual time. I didn't cut short any of this. So to show you how much time it takes, you can see the presentation. So you can see here, I'm actually checking the model in Solibri. This is a good way. You can bring in the model to a common platform like Solibri to check the status of it. And you can actually check and realize there is the big floor slab is missing, right? So you can see that is missing actually. And then I come back to Archicad, then check that particular slab here. So I will check what is happening to the slab. And you can see there is a solid element operation. So this solid element operation causes some issues. So I uncheck it. It doesn't change the shape of the slab. I export it again, this time to another version. So you can see it is going in. I'm saving the file now. So now I go to Solibri to update and check, make sure it is correct. I choose the update model. And in here, I choose the version just I exported. Then you can actually see the update coming in. Everything looks fine for me. Yeah, you can see. Now I switch to Revit. I'm ready to check in Revit. And I'm using the plugin developed by Graphisoft and choose the IFC Import. So this version is OK, and I choose the functions. So I want to auto join elements, correct the lines. Then I open. So I purposely leave it a bit to show you the actual time taken. Normally, be patient with it. This need to be done at least once for a project to check the quality of the data. First time when you are exporting, there will be some missing data and things like that. And also note about the time taken for Archicad. If it takes like 10 minutes to open, Revit may take 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Sometimes it depends on the file complexity. But here you have to go through this once. So you can see some errors coming in. So better to visualize it in 3D. So I will say OK here and then go to the next step. It will go through the import anyway without stopping. And you can see it is imported successfully. I'll say OK. And then you can see the content in 3D to check. First, it opens in section. So I need to switch to 3D window. So when I click on the 3D window, when I zoom in, then I realize what is missing actually, right? So you can see those elements or the vertical ones are missing. There is also some horizontal members. So I'll check on the other side also, just go below and check. So I'm OK. I somehow know what is the ones are missing. Now I want to go back to Archicad and check what is happening to that elements, right? So when I check on Archicad, so I select those missing elements and I can go to the settings of those vertical elements, which is created as a column. And then I check what is happening there. Then I realize there is actually n cuts or there, right? So this n cuts or the one causing the problem. I did the check before, so I know it. So you can see it looks a bit ugly, never mind. The engineers, what they need is the position of the column. So I'll just leave it as it is. So you can actually do the same thing on the other side as well. So again, all this can be saved once, and then we can actually use the same setting again before we export. We can change the setting. So it no need to be saved as part of architectural model. You can actually do it only when you want to export. Because the architecture model, I don't want it to look not nice, right? So the connection have to be nice. So that's done. I save as another version. So this time it's version 3. Just be a bit patient. So once it is done, I can now go back to Revit and then I can import again. This time I choose version 03, right? So I will open it. Actually, Ricky was asking, is there a list of known issues? We had to check on project by project, right? So we had to figure out on a project basis. Some projects, every project have different issues actually. So once you figure out what is the reason, then at least we know that project that issue don't exist anymore. So because Revit and Archicad side, both side, these tools are getting updated all the time. So it is very difficult to define the list of known issues. So there's a common question people ask, like, is there a list of known issues or not? It is difficult to define actually, right? So once it is exported, you can actually see this time it doesn't go through that error, right? It straight away goes to the import option. So the import is already fixed. There is no error shown. Yeah. So this is how I figure out what is the issue. Then I fix it. It's a bit of trial and error, I have to say. But yeah, everything is okay. You can see the vertical members and horizontal members are there. So everything is clean, right? So this can be used as a reference model by the structural engineer to continue their work. But there is also alternative things like you can actually use the view template in Revit to control the display of the floor plans. So in this case, I'm creating a view template for structural engineer. So if they want to continue with the same plan, they can actually do this as well. So they can go to structural plan and set the settings. Right, so first I'm checking everything okay. So I go to overrides model and make sure the structural discipline is the only one shown. Right, then I can actually move down and I can see the model display and make it hidden line. Okay, so then further down, I'll set the view range. This is very, very important. As architects, normally we show this view range like this, but we need to set the view range correctly for structural engineers here, and you have to set it minus for the bottom, right? So because they want to see the flow below, so that's a very important step, right? So once it is done, you also need to choose it is only showing the structural discipline, and I want to have hidden lines for all. I'll choose that, say okay. So once this is done, I apply this view template. So this will show the structural model very clearly in the plan. So now you can take a look at it. It looks like a model created in Revit itself, right? So you can see the model, right? So basically, once this workflow is sorted out, you can actually use the same process again and again. You have to reserve a bit of time for exchange. If you are exchanging weekly, then maybe you reserve about 2 hours or something to exchange and ask them to check. Once this is sorted out, every time you can actually pass to them the IFC file, and the structural engineers knows how to handle it. Then the project will go very smooth. So many projects are now going for OpenBIM. So this is, I thought this is a very good topic to share with Malaysian users at the moment, because we still have a lot of Revit users who are using Revit for structural engineering. So you may need to work with them. So that is the main reason we choose this topic. Thanks a lot for listening to me. I will, that's all I have today. I will pass it to Julia. If there is any questions, we will answer you on the chat window or at the end. Thanks, Julia. Julia, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me? I think someone has unmuted me earlier. Hey, yeah, someone has muted me earlier, so sorry about that. So that's why I have to go to unmute myself. Yeah, thank you, Chidam, for the detailed overview and demo on OpenBIM workflow with Revit. So before we move on to the Q&A session, I would like to provide an update on our upcoming events and activities. Graphisoft will have its first global digital event on 8th to the 9th of July, and the name of this event is Building Together. And you hear from an exciting lineup of Graphisoft leaders and industry experts. The architect of Merdeka 118, the world's second tallest building, will be at the event to share their design story and why they choose Archicad to design it. So do also invite your favorite engineers, as you will also learn how Graphisoft is changing the way architects and engineers work together. Now here's the QR code. I'll pause for a moment for you to scan it.
Julia, you can remove the, yeah.
Okay. Here's another event for both Singapore and Malaysia customer. Reimagine Building Together digital event where we will cover the Archicad 24 launch in local context of Singapore and Malaysia. We will host the event on 13th of August. So do mark this date on your calendar and more updates will be communicated in due course. Now, next, I would like to introduce a Graphisoft Learn program to everyone here. Graphisoft Learn is our official know-how program for any of you who are interested in learning more about Archicad and BIM. You may look for this Graphisoft Learn hashtag to find out more about upcoming trainings, Archicad BIM certifications, and useful tips. Here's the QR code. I will pause a while for you to do a quick scan again. Great. So lastly, I would like to invite everyone here to join us on the social media. There are two QR codes here. The left one is for YouTube and the right one is for Facebook. And again, I will pause for a while for you to take a quick scan. Great. So now I will hand over the Q&A session to James. But before I do that, I would like to remind everyone here that you need to unmute yourself before you ask questions. James, over to you now. James? James, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, we will be here. Anyone can take the questions. So, yeah. Ricky, I answer your question. Is that clear? Or during the presentation, I answer your question. Did you got it? Yeah.
Yes, I got that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would just be good if there was like a knowledge base that, you know, there's common things that to look out for just to help move the process along.
Understood. So basically what we can do is as a team, we are very familiar with all these kind of issues, what could be, what could cause the issue. When you have some kind of issues, you always can communicate to us. So you can reach Zaid or Ashraf or myself or James. We will try to look into the issues and then we can do that. That's the immediate thing we can do, right? But of course, I agree with you. We should consolidate this list. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep. Hello.
Hi. May I have a question actually?
Sure.
My name is Ahmed Arafat. I'm actually doing my master in architecture and I'm using Archicad for my project. So I have a simple question actually. Because Malaysia is based on most of the market is on Autodesk products, which is Revit for the BIM software, and most of the companies are having a lot of demand from the new students or graduates of this software. So is there any kind of community that actually helps us to identify that these companies are using Archicad-based software? So maybe in the future, those are learning Archicad can have a targeted for future market for going to those places doing for jobs and so on. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I will pick this question, this admin here. So to answer this question, I think if let's say you have instead of releasing the database which we are protected, we can't just give up the database. But what we can do is that if, let's say, from the students who are graduating or graduated, who want to, looking for opportunities, right? They can actually send us an email, and we will try to match or try to, if let's say there's some demand from the industry, we will actually match them to the job. As for education, right? We fully, Graphisoft fully really support the education institution. That's why I'm not too sure you are aware that for all our students in the universities or in the institution who are learning to use Archicad, we actually give them free student version.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Thank you. It's true actually. Even we can also, I think, as a student, can apply for free 1-year version.
So including the lecturer as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing actually. We can maybe email you, the students can email you, because our universities are also actually focusing on Revit rather than other BIM software, because it's not that popular in Malaysia yet.
Yes,
I
correct.
guess.
It will, yeah. Just let me add in a bit. Yeah, it will take some time. You will see changes because we are now active in the market, so there will be more people started using it. Then it will get better for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And Gary have a question, so I will take that question. Is there a workflow for Orion and structural software? So something is coming. I can't talk too much. So wait for July 8th. Remember to register for the event. Julia have already shared that link. So you will see more how a structural engineer can work with you. There are some new features will be very nice. That's the maximum I can say maybe. So join the event and then take a look. Yeah. So how your engineer can work with you.
To add to Chidam's, I really encourage everyone if you want to know more about Archicad, join our event on the 8th and 9th of July, the Building Together event.
Gary, is that okay? You are okay with the answer? You have further questions? Yeah, thanks, Gary. Thank you. Yeah. So, any other questions? So you can type on the chat, or you can actually unmute and ask for a question. Yeah. So Gary has any update on using Archicad in JKR project? I don't know how to answer this, Edmund.
Maybe Zaid can highlight about our progress in JKR now. Zaid,
Okay, I think since Rashid just joined, I think I think it's best that he answer. Give it answer.
Okay. Hello, Rashid. Yeah, so
hello.
Good to have you. I don't think we can answer this directly. Yeah. So it's not from us. Yeah. Thank you. So any other further questions?
Okay, I think if we have no further questions, anyway, we are not limiting all these questions to just this session alone. You can always email us, contact our reseller, contact our Graphisoft also directly, whichever means that is more comfortable for you, all right? And we can always pick up your questions. All right. So I think I don't want to delay further of this time. Let's move on to the next topics, which is I would say the most fun topic, and I have the honor to actually pick up this lucky draw, and I hope everyone good luck.
Right, for this lucky draw, we have 5 numbers of 30 Malaysian ringgit Grab food gift card to be given away as lucky draw prize. Okay. And
you need to click the lucky draw result.
Switch the lucky draw tab. Lucky draw.
Lucky draw tab.
Okay, so only participants who join our webinar will get the opportunity to win a prize. So all winners will be notified via email.
The lucky draw, right?
Yeah,
lucky draw tab. Okay,
quickly
below.
click on the lucky draw tab below.
Lucky draw result.
Yep, click on it. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so wish everybody well. So the first winner is Mr. Loh Boon Hock from LBH Architects. All right, so can you identify yourself? So that
Are you here?
You can actually use the team's raise hand, and then you can identify you are here. Yep.
Yes, Mr. Lu is here.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations to you. Okay, now we have the second winner. Mr. Ahmad Arifat from International Islamic University, Malaysia. Are you here, Mr. Ahmad? All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you. So now we have the third one. Miss Christine De La Cruz from MMLDC. Are you here?
Calling once, calling twice.
Is there any? Okay. So it's like I need to redraw again. So Mr. Sim Meng Chu from JM Design, Sdn Bhd. Are you here?
Do you remember to unmute yourself before you speak so that we can hear you?
Yeah. Either you raise your hand or you can actually unmute yourself or even show your face if you want.
But in the chat there is here. Yeah.
Is it here?
Yeah.
The name is
SMC.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, confirm it.
So confirm.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay. Let's have 2 more, the last 2. So now we have Cheryl Ong from BPMC. Are you here? So calling once, calling twice. Okay, now let's, I have to redraw again. We have Mr. Teo Eng Yang from Fajar Baru Builder, Sdn Bhd.
I think he's not here because he messaged me last minute he had meeting.
I see. Okay, let's draw again then in that case. And we have Miss Lilian Hui from Architects Karani.
Please identify yourself either on the chat or raise your hand or unmute yourself and then identify.
Okay, let's move on in that case.
Hey, again.
Okay, then we have to redraw again. Mr. Chan Sun Ong from Architects Daya Seni Sdn Bhd. Are you here, Mr. Chan?
Okay, he's here.
He's here.
He's here.
Congratulations to you. So this is the last one. We have Mr. PK Chong from Low and Low Architects. Are you here, Mr. Chong?
One.
Okay, so seems like we have to draw again. Mr. Fazli Hussein from IMA Architects. Are you here? Yeah, I think I saw Mr. Fazli.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, here it is.
congratulations to this 5 winner. All right, we will contact you via email. Just check your mailbox for that. All right. So now we come to okay, let me close this first.
Okay.
Okay, now we actually come to almost the end of the event. We would appreciate your time to give us some of your feedback. Kindly scan the QR code to access the survey form. It will definitely help us to plan for the next topic, which of the interest for this Archicad community. All right, I will give you about 30 seconds to complete the survey form. Okay, so I hope you are able to complete the survey form. If not, you can actually request from us again. So I really hope that I will see your survey because you will definitely help us to plan for the next user day. Right. So this comes to yeah.
Edmund, by the way, Mr. Lu is asking, are we going to have Archicad software as Lucky Draw the next time around? And Gary also say good idea.
It's under consideration, so I will. I encourage. That's why I encourage everyone to join us. So, if the more people join us, the more chance of better things to come up from Graphisoft. By the way, almost most of our Archicad launch event, right? We normally have our first prize, a very expensive lucky draw. For the past 2-3 years, it was like we are giving away iPad Pro. All right, so well, stay tuned for our Archicad launch, 24 launch, which is like an echo event of the building together, which will be which will organize in 13
August.
August, yeah,
13th.
13th August. Right, so stay tuned for that one. Definitely, we will try to organize very good gift, right? Our lucky draw. So stay tuned for that. All right. Any other question that you have? Okay, if not, I will say that thank you very much for today, for joining us today again. As you know by now, like in Graphisoft, we focus a lot on delivering Archicad know-how to our community. So this is our first user day for the year. We are not going to bring too heavy content as a start, but we'd like to introduce more and more complex stuff and updated content as we progress. So I would say that we really encourage to use this platform to share. Another important point that I would like to highlight is that this is not the only platform to communicate with us. All right, so please contact our team here if you need help. I believe some of my colleagues is also here, which is Rima. Rima, you are here as well, right?
I am.
Yeah, so just now I never introduced Rima. She's also our BIM consultant here. Hello, here. Marcelo, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Maybe Rima and Marcelo, you can show yourself.
It's not convenient for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
have my kids around me, and it will be even worse. Sorry.
And also, I think our reseller is also here as well. Is Noria over here?
Yes, I'm here.
Maybe you can, is it convenient to just show your face?
Yes, yes. Hi. I am here. I think most of the users would have known me.
All right, and of course, I'm not too sure Jaden is here or not, Jaden or Tim.
I don't see this.
Okay, so do contact us directly or to our reseller, and we will get back to you. All right, we are really want to build up this community, our Archicad user in Malaysia, and we are dedicated in doing that. All right. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. And we intend to host this user day on a regular basis, and hopefully by the time we have our next user day, we are able to meet everyone in person. All right. So in the meantime, take care and stay safe. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Fine, thank you.
Cheers. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.